Better Call Saul is about to enter its final few episodes, so I wanted to give my takes on what I think will happen and what I think could happen. First off, the dude that was teaching that class is the only one of the film students that was given a name. He doesn't seem to care about Jimmy, and he was in the room when they were developing some naughty photos to cause the Howard breakdown. He even asked about it, and Saul blows him off. At first I thought this meant that Film Boy could go to the cops and drop a dime on Kim and Jim after he finds out about Howard. But now that I've thought about it, I think it's more likely that he would blackmail them for more money. I don't know if this will happen though, because he would have to do a little digging to figure out the photos were meant for Howard. And as I understand it, he only knows about the photos themselves at this point. But I do predict that he will definitely come into play later. Next thing, in Breaking Bad, Jim says that he's been divorced twice. In Better Call Saul, he says he's been divorced twice. So the number of exes did not change. Kim and Jim are married right now, which means they could still be together, doing their little schemes in the background of Breaking Bad, hanging out with Cliff Maine's crackhead son, trying to summon Chuck's ghost just to trash talk him, and scamming small children who don't speak English. Or Kim could be dead, so a divorce wasn't needed. It's been pointed out by YouTuber Illogical that Kim was acting shady when they were signing the marriage paperwork, like checking to see if Jimmy Jam had really walked away before doing something, and the imagery of Saul and Kim looking at their IDs is similar to Slip and Kimmy looking at the Mesa Verde plans alongside that woman right before she swapped those very same plans. There's also the fact that the marriage guy commented on her lack of a middle name, and Huel also asked if she's going to be a Goodman or a Wexler. Any of these things alone could be a red herring, especially the middle name thing, but all of them together seem weird. So I wouldn't be surprised if something is going on. I just don't think it's something to screw over Jimmy. Rather, probably something to protect them both. I want Lalo to live because all of these other non-Breaking Bad characters are dropping like flies, and I'd like to see a more unexpected resolution to that conflict than just LOL death. Unfortunately, I do think Lalo will die, just not the way we think. Gus of Better Call Saul is not the Gus of Breaking Bad. Lalo has the man absolutely shook, the same way Gus had Walter shook. His plan to get Nacho killed in Mexico was sloppy and convoluted. He's knocking stuff over and randomly scrubbing things. So I do think Gus has a 1 million IQ plan with the gun in the super lab. I just don't think it'll work. And Mike will probably end up saving the day, which leads to him becoming Gus's trusted number 2. Or the cartel gets pissed Lalo is messing with Chicken Man's money, which is also partially their money, and they take him out. Lalo never got any proof Gus was doing anything against the cartel, and Don Eladio has literally said, business is business. He doesn't care where the money comes from, just as long as it comes. Juan Bolsa is the one who sent men to the desert to take Lalo's money, so I'd be surprised if he isn't the one who decides to take him out, or at least plays some part in it. Probably doesn't help that Lalo showed him up when they were giving their money to Don Eladio. I feel like that would be a small thing to us, but these cartel dudes seem to have quite the ego, so I do think it left an impression on him. There's also a theory that Lalo gets buried underneath the south wall of the super lab after he's killed, which caused me to develop a theory of my own. Since everyone already thinks Lalo is dead, Gus wins the battle against him and keeps him alive in a secret room in the secret lab and basically tortures him like they would in a gulag. Then Walt comes along and blows him up by accident when he takes out the lab. My evidence for this theory is a story Gus told about keeping an animal alive just to torture it, and the way he goes to the nursing home over and over to taunt Hector. So basically, I have no evidence. But Peter Gould has said that Better Call Saul will change the way we see Breaking Bad, and Walt accidentally committing an altruistic act and freeing Lalo from his suffering would be hilarious. A major hole in the theory, though, is that I really doubt Gus would do all that, then not taunt Hector about it in Breaking Bad, unless they come up with some reason that he doesn't want Hector to know, which would be a little weird. Unless Gus doesn't tell him because he doesn't want him to tell the other crime lords. Saul still being scared of Lalo in Breaking Bad could also be evidence that he's alive. But it's probably more so evidence that Saul will never fully believe that Lalo is dead now, no matter what. Overall, I do think Lalo will die, but I'm not happy about it. Peter Gould, the show creator, has said that Gus finds love. If you look at Gus's first and last name, Gus Fring, it has 8 letters. Skinny Pete's name has 10 letters. 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. 2 multiplied by 5 is 10. This implies that Skinny and Gus are cut from the same cloth and will probably end up dating. I called my grandfather to confirm this theory, and he said, "La la la," because he had a stroke a while back. Jesse and Walt are coming back, and Peter said it would be fun. Lots of different ways to take that, but I think it means we will see Mike and Victor watching Jesse and Walt get up to their shenanigans before the dynamic duo is aware of them. I think the funniest way to do it would be to have Mike watching them through binoculars whenever they steal that barrel of methylamine. However, I also think there will be more serious moments where we see certain Breaking Bad events from Saul's perspective. The one I'm most interested in is when Walt poisons Brock, because we never actually see Walt go over there and poison him. We just see him with the flower by his pool. Saul, however, goes over there regularly to drop off money for Brock's mom. So I'm curious to see if he unknowingly played a bigger part in it than we think. Or knowingly did, but I kind of doubt that. I know when Jesse confronts him about it, he acts like an innocent little lamb chop, but he could have been lying. Or maybe he doesn't even know. Either way, it would serve as a decent low point for the character, going from Jimmy McGill, Slippin' Jimmy, to Saul Goodman, a criminal lawyer. And if Kim is alive in Breaking Bad, and I believe she is, what event can make Jimmy fall into the depression he's clearly in when we see him in the Gene timeline? Other than something like accidentally poisoning a child. Or, again, doing it on purpose. Because in the Gene timeline, he has absolutely no joy in his life and lives in a constant state of paranoia. Then again, he could just be depressed over leaving everything behind and not being able to practice law or really do anything. As far as the ultimate ending to Jimmy's story, I think he will confront that cab driver, con him somehow, and get that rush like he used to back in his Saul days, then turn himself in and become an actual criminal lawyer. Saul may be one of the only people on earth that would actually be happy to go to prison since he can do what he loves again and doesn't have to be paranoid anymore. Because what's there to be paranoid about if you've already been caught? It'd be great if all that happened. He gets a light sentence. He's happy again, practicing the law. Kim comes to visit, and they're talking about things they could do once he gets out. Then he gets shanked 105 times out of nowhere. In terms of overall tone, Breaking Bad had a pretty grounded, positive finale. Jesse made it away. Walt got everything he wanted. So I kind of expect the same here. And when Peter says Gus finds love, I actually think he's referring to a romantic relationship between him and Gail, which is why he has such a reaction to it in Breaking Bad and cuts Victor's throat. Gus and Gail would be the funniest couple ever. Honestly, I'd watch a season of that. There's also a theory that Kaylee is a time traveler. That's probably true. That's kind of it for my theories and thoughts about it. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think will happen. So, if you want, you can leave me a comment or message me on Discord and tell me. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys around.